and welcome back to the Sandra's Kitchen, and Merry Christmas. Today we're going to be doing another delicious side dish, the infamous green bean casserole. Who doesn't like green bean casserole? And there's so many different ways to make it. So we're going to show you a recipe today that there's a few steps, but it's not hard at all, and I'm sure you can do it. So anyway, I'm going to go over what we have today to go into this recipe. So we have two different kind of green beans. We're using the canned Italian cut green beans. We have fresh green beans. We have bacon. We have Harvarti cheese. We have a Swiss cheese. We have some panko breadcrumbs, some cream of mushroom soup. We have garlic, onions, butter. We have our caliente hot sauce, poultry seasoning, a little sherry wine, and a little bit of oil. So the first step is going to be taking care of cooking up our green beans just for a couple of minutes until they get tender. You don't want them crunchy in your casserole. So let's get to cooking these green beans. My water's boiling. I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt. Ooh, wow. And then we're going to go ahead and add our green beans. And it's going to come back to a boil. And we're going to let these boil about 4 or 5 minutes. I do want them tender. I don't want them crispy. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. And we'll see after about 4 minutes how the green beans are coming out. Look how green and pretty they are. It'll just be a few more minutes. Okay, our green beans are done and they've drained and they're just sitting off to the side right now. So now we're going to cut up about 3 strips of bacon. It may not be traditional, but you know we love our bacon. So I'm just going to cut it in little strips. It's always good to have a really nice sharp knife. Just going to add a little bit of oil to my pan. Oh, it's nice and hot. Then I'm going to add my bacon. I'm going to fry this up till it's nice and crispy and put it on a little paper towel to drain on the side. And then we'll go to our next step. Okay, we got all our little crispies out of the frying pan and the bacon smells great. Hopefully when we go to use them, it's all going to still be there. So now we're going to go ahead and cut up our onions. All right, I cut a lot of onions already, but we have a little piece left, and I'm going to show you how we like to cut it for this recipe. A lot of people cut the onion across the little lines, run this way, they cut it this way. We're going to cut it this way for this recipe. It makes nice little wedges, and it all comes apart. And I do have a Band-Aid on my finger. So everything is okay. I lost a battle with a lid of a can, but we're good. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start caramelizing our onions. Okay, we're going to caramelize our onions right now. We only use 3 strips of bacon because we wanted that reserved grease to go ahead and caramelize our onions. If you want to put more bacon in your recipe, you can just drain off some of the oil. So. Now this process is not difficult. It just takes a little time. It could take 10 minutes. So we're going to come back and show you as it's going along, as it's getting nice and brown. Well, they're getting there. Little ways to go. Just keep your fire on medium. Just make sure you don't want them burnt, but they're going to be nice and brown. Almost there. Okay. They're not done yet, but we're going to add a few more things to our pan before these get done. We're going to go ahead and add our garlic. A little splash of our sherry wine. And a nice tablespoon of our caliente hot sauce. And we're going to keep cooking it. And They're going to get a little bit browner than this, but we want them to get a little browner, so it's going to take a few more minutes. Okay, our onions are nice and caramelized. If you could just smell this, it's unbelievable. But we're going to go ahead and turn the fire off, and then we're going to go ahead and assemble our delicious green bean casserole. So we're going to assemble our casserole. We're going to use half of our onions. This smells so good. I'm just going to spread that in the bottom of the pan. Now we're going to add our green beans. I'll say it. These are our Italian cut green beans. We'll spread that out evenly. Then we're going to add our fresh cut green beans. Spread those out. We have the green beans in. We're going to do a little seasoning here. And a little salt and pepper. I'm going to use a teaspoon. Nothing worse than unseasoned green beans. Okay. And then we're going to top it with our little Crispies that we saved, our little bacon. That looks good. That looks good just like that, actually. Now we're going to add our cream of mushroom soup. I did open 3 cans, but we may not use it all. I'd rather have more than not enough sauce, because this really brings this dish together. It makes it taste really good. I just spread it out real good. Actually looks good. Okay, now we're going to top this with the remaining onions. Telling you, it's so worth it just to go ahead and caramelize these onions. A lot of people like to use those little crispy ones out of the bag, and they are very, very good, but this just kind of puts it over the top. I'll just spread it out, and then we're going to come back and put our little topping on. Ready for our next layer. We have some nice Harvarti cheese. We're going to put half of our cheese down here. And then we also have some delicious Jarlsberg Swiss cheese. I'll put that down. That looks so good. All right. Now, our next step is we have some delicious panko breadcrumbs. And we melted some butter. And we're going to go ahead and mix that in. Just toss it around. And we're going to sprinkle that on top of the casserole. This is going to give it a nice crunchy top. We have our oven preheating right now to 375 degrees. And as soon as we get all these toppings on, we're going to go ahead and stick it in the oven. Now, we'll top with the rest of our cheese. A Harvarti, one of my favorites. And then the Swiss. Well, our casserole's all put together. We're going to go ahead and stick it in a 375-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Our casserole's out of the oven, and it smells and looks delicious, so we're going to give it a try. Wow, the topping on it is nice and crunchy. And we're going to put a nice little spoon of it on the plate. That looks good. Man, that smells so good. We're going to go ahead and give it a taste. It's hot. That is so delicious. I think what puts it over the top is those caramelized onions. It's so good. Now, we did use a mixture of the canned green beans and fresh. The canned green beans are delicious, but you can use either. You can do a mixture like we did, or you can use all the canned or all the fresh green beans, whichever way you want to go. But the caramelized onions puts it over the top. It is so good. Hi, thank you again for tuning in to our channel, The Sandra's Kitchen, and I hope you try this delicious recipe for a green bean casserole. If you do, please like and give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And again, thank you for tuning in. Look forward to some more delicious videos. God bless.